question, or rather it was a comment to a video I did about the Gnostic creation myth, and you can find that if you are interested. So the comment is, all creation myths are invalid in the sense that they are pure speculation, and there is no way to verify any of the claims. Creation itself is only a concept, and an arbitrary word describing a concept. There is no such thing in reality. There is only what appears to be happening, and no one knows exactly what is happening or how it is happening or what started the happening process. And when I hear something like this, I mean, the first question that comes to mind is, what kind of antidepressants are you taking? Because if you have this kind of view of life, you must be depressed. Either you are depressed and you acknowledge it, or you are pretending that you are perfectly happy because you are liberated from this illusion that there is any kind of reality. Because what you are basically denying here, you're saying nothing is real. Right? And that, I understand that's what some of these non-dual teachers are saying. Nothing is real. Nothing exists. Right? But you have to just, well, I don't know. I don't know if there's anything I can say that would help these people. But for me, it's what prevented me when I was younger from going into this blind alley, because I read enough spiritual teachings and philosophy that I could see this, the denying of reality. And I literally came to a point where I was standing there at the edge of this abyss. And I could see that I could plunge myself into the abyss of doubt and nothing is real and not know what was going to happen. Or I could just step back and say, is the abyss real? In other words, what this kind of view is saying is nothing is real. We can't know anything. Right? And this is something that has been created over time by people who went into this mindset. But you can step back and say, is the claim that nothing is real itself real? It's again, as I've said it in another video, you have this traditional sentence, this statement is a lie. Well, if you take it literally, then the statement itself must be a lie. And if it's a lie that it's a lie, is it true? You see what I'm saying? It's just illogical. So when you say nothing is real, that statement in itself must not be real, which means there must be something that's real. And so I'm just saying, the question for me is, as I've explained in one of my videos in my series about how the world works, I have a video called How the Mind Can Deceive Itself. And to me, this is the essential question here. Is there something that isn't created by our minds? And can we connect to it? In other words, we realize the mind has the ability to create all kinds of unreal. I mean, understand what a person is saying. All creation myths are invalid. They are pure speculation. Creation itself is only a concept. What he's really saying is, he's seeing that all of these creation myths out there, found in so many variations and different things, they're all creations of the mind, he's saying. But then he's also saying there's nothing outside the mind. There's no such thing in reality. There's only what appears to be happening. Nobody knows exactly what's happening or how it's happening or what started the happening process. Well, what if there is someone who knows? What if there's someone who started the happening process? And what if that being is outside our minds, but we can connect to it? So that was what helped me step back from this abyss. Because I understand it. The mind can become a downward spiral that literally sucks you in, and you end up in this, nothing is real, and we can't know. So you're either an agnostic or you're completely depressed and end up in a mental institution, or you are out in society on heavy medication so you can still function. But the alternative for me has always been, and I don't know, maybe I acquired this in a past life or whatever, but for me, the obvious alternative has always been to recognize one simple thing. My mind isn't that smart. My mind can't know and doesn't know everything. Therefore, my mind cannot define what is real and unreal. You see what this person is doing? All creation myths are invalid. They are pure speculation. Arbitrary word describing a concept. What the person is really doing when you step back from it is saying, my mind has the ability to define that nothing is real. And the irony of that is that I agree that there are many of these creation myths that are unreal, they are invalid. They are created, as I've explained in several videos, by us who have gone into this state of separation. We are using what we see in this world to project upwards on reality, some higher reality. We are projecting out. We are using the mind of separation, the separate mind, the duality consciousness, to project what reality is like. And there are some of these creation myths that are a complete creation of the mind. The person can see this, but he can't see that he's doing the same thing by defining that nothing is real. You are literally, the fundamentalist Christians literally think in their minds they can define how God is and how the world works. The born-again Marxists that I met in college, they literally believed they could define in their minds that Marxism was true and a historical necessity. The scientific materialists, I literally believe that they can define in their minds that there is no God. And this person literally believes that he can define in his mind or her mind there is no reality. What they're all doing is they are saying we can define in our minds that there is nothing, no reality outside our minds. We have defined what is real and unreal. And what I've always sensed is I can't do that. My mind isn't capable of doing that really. It can create an illusion, all kinds of illusions. But there is a reality outside of my mind that I cannot define. I can discover it by connecting to it, not by using my mind to reason, to intellectualize, to analyze, but by connecting to it. So in other words, we have faculties in our minds that can do all kinds of things. It can create any illusion it wants and project that that illusion is real. That's what I explained in several videos talk about the Earth as a reality simulator. We can create any mental image, any worldview that we want, and we can project on it that this is absolutely real. Of course, there will be some other guy who's created a different worldview and projected that that's real, so there's all kinds of potential for conflict. And the conflict is meant to help us out of this idea that our minds can define reality. And that's what we come to at a certain point when we're engaged in the spiritual path. We come to a point where we use our intuitive faculties, and we use this ability that I've talked about several times, where at the core of our being is what I call the conscious you, which is experiencing the world through the outer mind. And that's why we can create this illusion in the mind that we can define reality, and when you step into it, it seems real. But the conscious you can also step outside of that self, that sense of identity. And then you experience, gosh, there's a reality outside of my mind that my mind hasn't defined. And I've experienced that since I was 3 years old, and probably in past lifetimes. And most spiritual people I met on the spiritual path, they've experienced the same thing. You're connecting to something outside your mind that is more real than anything in your own mind. And I can only assume that a person who has this attitude hasn't connected to that. Because if you did, you could never even say, there's only what appears to be happening, and no one knows exactly what is happening, or how it's happening, and what started the happening process. I mean, in a sense, the person is saying, all these creation myths is just concepts and arbitrary. But he also seems to be admitting that something is happening. Well, if something is happening, Couldn't it be that it actually started at some point? Couldn't it be that there's a reason behind it? Couldn't it be that there was someone who started the happening process? There just happened to be someone started the happening process? And if that's the case, then we simply need to step back and realize a simple thing. We human beings have been given free will and imagination. You look at history and how many people have created these fantasies. They have created these worldviews, these creation myths or whatever. Yes, our mind has the ability to do this. But who gave us that ability? Maybe there's some being outside our own minds that created us. Yes, we can use our minds to create gods, and we have. But maybe there's a God who created us that we haven't created, that we can't define. And our minds can't define it, but we can connect to it. We can go outside the outer mind that wants to define everything. We can connect to some reality outside that mind. That's what my whole life has been about. That's what most spiritual people I know, that's what their lives have been all about. And throughout the ages, millions of people, that's what their lives have been all about. Get out of this nonsense that the human mind has created and connect to something real outside the mind. And it is possible. It is possible. I'm not the only one who's proven this. Millions of people have proven this. You haven't experienced it, well, you haven't proven it to yourself. But you can, or you can continue for the rest of this lifetime believing that your mind can define what's real and unreal. But maybe that's really what's unreal.